I'm here to give Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, because of all the action going on in the sky right now and its long term implications, as well as loaded fifth house, a stellium, three or more planets in that fifth house, or a significant placement like one of the ones I just mentioned. A read straight from the hip with lots of lip. We're looking at the Venus Jupiter conjunction and how this will be influencing your life, what kind of goodies it's bringing in, what kind of opportunities are on deck, how you can move to take best advantage of those junctures when you get a shot at changing your life all on the drop of a dime. All right. Um, I did tap into your energy and I have an opening download for you all. I really felt at first like this real sense of frustration. It felt like a feeling of being held back. It doesn't feel like you don't know where you want to go. I think you do. I think you're very clear about what you want. You just don't quite know how to get it. Like that's what really came in strongly. You don't quite know how to get it. There's this feeling that you're like too much in your head about it. And I think that this is kind of tying you up in knots. And it's sort of like you think you're held back, but you're not really held back. It's a story you told yourself. And it's actually because what's required in order for you to move forward requires that you face a fear. You don't want to face this fear. You don't want to face this fear. I feel like it's a fear of really risking vulnerability, risking failure in some cases, risking rejection. This is an interesting message. Risking someone seeing the real you. Maybe that's why the fear of rejection is so looming. You know, maybe you've just come to understand parts of the real you, parts of the real you even you hadn't recognized before. Maybe it's been hard for you to integrate those parts and accept those parts. You've done a lot of healing work around that. Feels vulnerable to let the truth be seen by another. This coming in for somebody. I also feel like you have a dream. You have a dream and you want this dream with like everything in your being. You've wanted it for a really long time. And you can see it, like you can see it lining up. You see it syncing up. You see it on the horizon. You see it coming in on the horizon. And yet you feel like there's something that you don't have that's essential in order for you to be able to receive what you're wanting. You know, there's something essential you don't have. Like, let me give you an example. Let's say that you really have this strong desire to go and live in a particular location because you feel really connected to the land, right? You just feel like you're really in your element when you're there. You feel like when I'm in this place, everything syncs up for me, like everything lines up for me. The energy just flows. My life works easier. I'm happier. I feel more balanced when I'm in this space. And yet you don't have the finances you need to move forward. You know, that's an example. And so it's frustrating because it's like, no, I know where I'm supposed to go. I know what's aligned with me. I know what I'm desiring. I know what that looks like. I know what it feels like. But there's something that's holding the show up, you know? And I think there's also a piece about it, maybe in the case of where you feel like you've been held up financially. This might have something to do with something that was promised to you that was never delivered. Um, or maybe in some way you feel like you got ripped off, you know? Maybe you had somebody take money from you, you know, in some way. This could even be like the government, you know? You might feel like your taxes are really high and you're like, I'm just trying to get where I need to go. And now I've got to pay out this big chunk of change. Okay. So that's another example coming in. But I feel like you're feeling held back. And there's this like frustration around it because you're just so ready to sync up with what you know is meant for you. You know, I feel like a lot of the limitation though is coming up in your mind. Ted agrees with that. I don't know if you heard him, but he said, "Woo." It's like hmm, maybe this thing makes you feel like that. you know. Uh, yeah, I could see why you'd want to come into alignment with that. Why you'd want to sync up with that. But I feel like there's something that is really like a story you told yourself that's keeping you limited. It's not really so much the reality of the situation. And I get that even in the case where there's like finances are holding you back. There's something you're not capitalizing on. There's something you're not making full use of that you have at your disposal that actually could catapult you there. And you're holding yourself back in a way. That's kind of the message coming in. Bottom of the deck energy. Yeah. It's time to get to work with the Eight of Pentacles. It's time to really invest in the direction you want to head in instead of, keeping it up in the safety zone where you just think about it, where you just think about, oh, what if, or when I get there. And then you give excuses for why you can't have it, right? You give excuses for why you can't have it because what's required of you to really go for it is your full investment. That full investment feels a little scary because your emotions are also on the line with this investment. Your heart is on the line. And we are talking about Leo, so I'm going to bring it in. Your pride is on the line, especially in terms of some kind of dream you have connected with a way you want to expand with like a creative project or a business venture. You know, you want to knock it out of the park. You want to have that success. You want to make that mark. It's funny though, because a lot of times success is built upon failure. And what's required is just like taking the risk to put yourself out there and then seeing what happens along the way. And it's time to also kind of reframe what failure is. Failure isn't necessarily end all be all. It's a cathartic point of possibility for transformation and actually aligning with success. Sometimes failure is so essential for success. And if you're not willing to risk failure, then you stay in the safety zone in your life and you never feel fulfilled and you feel like you feel right now. You feel that feeling of being held back, not being able to like move forward. And yet you've got this like, it's like the swelling of the tide and it's held behind this dam of artificial control, this stance of this excuse. I can't do it yet because of this. I can't go there yet because of that, always giving the excuse of something outside of yourself when really people take gambles all the time, and they can pay off. And yeah, it's kind of a dicey atmosphere. I feel like you could afford to be a little bit dicey right now. It's about making a solid investment for you at this point. It's about saying yes and then actually proving that yes by doing the damn thing is what I got. Doing what it takes to make it happen, doing the work, actually just getting the energy moving. Stop thinking about it. If you know where you're aligned, if it feels so right, if it's a full on yes, then just do the damn thing. And maybe for some of you that requires having a really difficult conversation or, revealing yourself, letting yourself really be seen for who you are. Some of you that might be very exposing because it might mean that you're having to like bail out on something that at one point you were invested in, but you're not invested in it anymore. And that can be really scary. It can be scary for you too because you thought you knew what you were investing in back there. At one time that felt like alignment for you too. So, oh shit, now I'm being called in a different direction to come into alignment with that. How does that feel? That feels a little destabilizing. If I was wrong about that, maybe I'm wrong about this too. You can stay locked in that zone forever. This is about just do it. Just do it. It promises to lead to success. It promises to lead to a new direction in your life. This is about moving into partnership with life, and creating something on the fly as you go. Move more with spontaneity. Having things too structured, too planned, is not going to get you where you need to go right now. Not with this astrology in play. We got Saturn and Pisces. It's like, yeah, set your target, invest in it, and then create a lot of wiggle room for the divine play of life. Expect that there may be failures along the way. Expect that things may change. Expect that you might end up at a different destination than you even think you're setting your targets on now, in terms with what you think you're in alignment with. You're in alignment with it in this moment, but you're going to go through a growth process along the way. You might be surprised where you end up, but it's like this thing that you're in alignment with right now is a step to take you where you want to go. I have a feeling where you want to go is actually a lot bigger than how you envision it right now. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. That's what I got for you as an opening message. 11:40 on the clock. We're going to get into your read. Oh, I got a lot of sentience. I think for a lot of you, it's about the truth coming forward, the truth of who you are. I believe there's somebody important you need to communicate that to as well. And it's about being real, and it's about letting it all come out into the open and being seen. And for some of you, this is really about like stepping into your gifts, your talent, like something that you have to offer to contribute. You hold it back. What if I fail? What if it's not received? What will people think of it? How will I feel if it's rejected? All of this nonsense. Well, it may be rejected. But sometimes it's not about the end result. It's about the leap and what happens in that in-between space, that liminal space between here and there. That's where all the magic happens. Okay? So it's about, buy the ticket, go on the ride, and, put your hands up on the drops, live a little dangerously and enter the thrill of life. If it scares you a little bit, that's a good thing. That means that you're on the precipice of something important. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just shuffle out some cards for you, Leo, and we're going to see what the Venus Jupiter conjunction is bringing in for you. Now, we already had one meetup on the 2nd for Venus and Jupiter, and you're going to be seeing them in the night sky all throughout this month. They are in close proximity with each other. And if you haven't had a chance to like go out in the northern hemisphere and check that out and look up at the night sky, I highly recommend you do, because it is quite beautiful. It's been really beautiful to watch them, kind of do their dance with each other, and then, come in close for a meetup, so maybe this is really that symbolism. There's like this magnetic pull, with what you're drawing in now. It could even be somebody, there might be somebody you want to pull a little closer. Maybe there's been some distance. Maybe there's been a little bit of back and forth like this, you come in close and then, ooh, it activates stuff. Okay, now I need a little space here for a minute. Oh, it's interesting. I think you are going through something like that with somebody. And that can play out on a lot of different levels. For some of you, it's romantic. For some of you, it's with a mentor. It's with a mentor, it kind of like you're working with somebody and they ding something in you. It opens up something in you and you're like, oh, okay, now I need space to kind of like look at this, right? For some of you, it's coming up in relation to, I'm going to just say it's coming in, a nemesis, who challenges something in you. This is interesting because a lot of people don't look at that aspect of a nemesis or the ops, sometimes they're there to awaken you to something inside of yourself that you haven't been able to see before. That could be a desire. It could be a certain strength you have that you weren't aware of, So, So it's like, that's a stretch. It's true though. You can really learn a lot from your nemesis. You can learn a lot about ways that you are holding yourself back, or just even perceptions you have. Okay, so when it comes to the nemesis, bless their hearts. Bless their hearts. They're here to offer you something too. Okay, it's all working in your benefit. All of life is working in your benefit, even the really tough stuff. Okay, so stay open minded. Stay open minded. Um, yeah, we got two more of those Venus Jupiter conjunctions coming up for you all, though, on the 22nd and the 28th. So look for things really get lit with the kickoff of spring equinox on the 20th. And then we also got a new moon in Aries on the 21st. And right after that, that Venus Jupiter conjunction. And we also got on the 23rd, Pluto going into Aquarius. So it's going to be a wild ending to the month. I think you all are feeling too a lot of what's kind of like brewing right now. Oh, I said, and what flies off the deck, the tower. Yeah, it's mind blowing, man. And this is the crossing energy. That is cracking me up. I don't know if you can hear him, but he just said, woo. He's so enthusiastic. I love it when he contributes like that. But there's this piece coming in about, I think you're getting your mind blown. I think you're getting your mind blown. Some of you Leos have had this story you've been telling for a long time about the things that other people have done to you and how they've caused you so much pain, and how this person, maybe nemesis, okay, I'm going to bring it in because that nemesis piece came in, how this, nemesis has blocked my path and they've always kept me from achieving what I want to achieve, or, I feel like there's been a lot of excuses, right? This could be stuff that was inherited from the mother. I don't know why I got that. And I don't know if there's a Cancer connection there. I think that's like, I want to say that came up in a reading recently. And I think it might have actually came in with Cancer's reading. There might be some kind of connection there. But I feel like this may be like kind of a mentality that you developed, in relation to your mother. I don't know if mom maybe struggled with issues of always kind of feeling like helpless or victimized, or kind of at times can have a woe is me kind of mentality, or why does everything always work out for everybody else but not me, this kind of vibe. I'm kind of like picking up a little bit of that energy. And I think that through doing some emotional work, this is what I'm picking up. And you may have been even doing some kind of therapeutic work, or working with somebody with a strong water sign placement in their chart, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. This is also like diving into that South Node energy of Scorpio, which is all about transmuting the shadow and getting to the subconscious influences. So I think you've actually been doing quite a bit of emotional work. I also feel like you've had a lot of purification coming from tears. I feel this really strongly. I feel fiery tears. That's what I feel. Very fiery. It's like your fire's been bubbling up those tears, getting them all to a frothy boil. It's like this combination I'm feeling with you, like it's almost steamy. And it's funny because I feel it on like both levels. I feel like it's also like it's that kind of like something's at the boiling point, that energy being held in and held back. It's just about to like just totally like blow its top and spill over. Like here comes the tower. For some of you, I also got it on a level like almost a sensual level, okay, where it's like this passion, this feeling, this emotion. I feel like it's emotion fueled passion has been held in and held back for so long that you're feeling very sexually frustrated. You're ready to like blow the top, have that big O of completion. What the world? Okay, now I can't help it, the pearl in the oyster. I'm just saying, maybe you need to do some little, self nurturing in that regard. This is an adult channel, okay? I just want to reiterate that, but I feel like this is a real big time of like something's blowing your mind. It's also blowing you wide open. That's what I got. Some of you are opening up as a channel. Some of you are opening up as a channel. You're really connecting to spirit in a different way. You're actually starting to get downloads. You're like, how do I know these things? Where is this information coming from? You might find you're getting a lot of guidance pouring in, telling you, go this place, do this, do that. I feel it all is about that alignment piece and this like dream you have. I feel like there's some of you that want to really like, you're really wanting to do something creative. I'm getting album, I'm getting writing a book or writing a screenplay or making a film. It's something like that. And it's something that has like a lot of love and energy and like focus poured into it. And it's something also that is connected to your own healing process, something you've been working through. And I think that it came at a time in your life when maybe you had suffered some great loss that took you to a really deep place. I mean, we got the Queen of Cups and it's coming in with the Tower. So, I mean, big Scorpio vibes here, right? I'm really feeling Scorpio energy around this. It could have even been somebody that had a strong Scorpio placement in their chart that really like blew you open in this way. Maybe at first that was a painful experience. Maybe at first that was a disillusioning experience. I'm picking up Scorpio Venus very strongly on that. The deep dive into the dark waters of love is what I just heard. Yeah, I think there was a lot of passion. I think there was also a lot of anger maybe in this situation. I'm kind of feeling both. It's like a boiling point. Boiling point. I feel like there is still this kind of energy, like it's still building, and now it's like you want to channel the energy in a different way, where you want to go forward. You feel it's calling you, and you feel held back, but you're not held back. You got everything you need. You completed the old cycle. It is time to move forward in success. And I think as long as you start taking steps to do this thing, you're going to see, oh, look, bottom of the deck energy. Look, there you go. That's your energy, the sun. Look, it's happiness, it's fulfillment, it's success. You got to get out of your own way. And if you did inherit anything like that from the mother, about I can't do it. I don't have what I need. Everything works out for everybody else, or feeling victimized in some way, something along these lines, or even just nursing the wound too much, like staying too focused on how you've been hurt or how you feel you've been wronged or what didn't work out, like wallowing energy. Okay. It's time to really like cast that off. I think you're going to realize ways that you've been holding yourself back all along. I feel like some of you have some kind of goal. I don't know why I got this, but I'm going to bring it in because it's coming in really strongly. This might only be for like one or two people, but it's very front and center. You might even have a goal like you want to go and relocate and live in another country. This is something you feel very inspired to do. You want brand new everything, brand new culture. You're kind of like you want culture shock, like you want a revolution. You want everything brand new. You want new experiences, new stimulus. And you feel connected to this land, like this land is calling you. You may even dream of this land, or you may feel like you've had a past life there or something like that, and it's just really calling you forward. I think for those of you who have that message coming in very strongly, or you're feeling very powerfully drawn to travel to a particular region because you feel like once I travel there, there's something that comes in for me that makes all the other pieces come into place. I think you already know what I'm talking about, those I'm talking. You've gotten a download about this. It came in a dream. You got some kind of guidance about it. You got synchronicity everywhere about this. you know that this place is courting you. And once you go there, it's like it's a date with destiny. Everything syncs up. I think that the excuses you've been telling yourself why you can't move forward with this, for some of you, it may be codependency on a mom. You know, you might feel like you might need to caretake your mom in some way, or maybe your mom makes you feel guilty if you want to, go and do this. Oh, you're just going to leave me behind here? Because I mean, going to another country, that's a big leap, right? But I feel like once you do this, and I do see you doing it, you'll do it in the summertime. In your season in particular, I feel like when those nodes of destiny shift, so we're going to have the Taurus North node will move into Aries, and that'll be the time for really taking action to ignite, the destiny, stepping into the destiny. The South node will move out of that heavy Scorpio energy. It'll move into Libra, the place of finding the karmic balance. And so I feel like this is a big wrap up cycle we're in right now, and you're going to have what you need to move forward with this. You're going to be able to go and relocate to that place, or you're going to be able to finally go and travel to that place that's been calling you. And I feel like what happens there, it changes everything for you and how you move forward. It's a really interesting message coming in there. Okay, let's see. What else is this Venus Jupiter conjunction bringing in? We got an invitation coming in. You're going to hear from somebody. Page of Wands energy, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It is also your energy. So you could be extending an invitation to someone yourself. You may decide, I want to take the initiative. We did talk about you feeling like you're in a place of alignment, and that you know what you want, and this might be you taking the initiative. If you are feeling compelled to reach out to somebody and you feel like that's your role, that's what you need to do, I would say if you feel nervous about it, don't worry about it. There is dragon energy here on the card, so I feel like you have some protection around you in regard to this, okay? I also feel like if you feel nervous about the person who's approaching you to communicate with you, you have protection around this. There is a crossing energy around here. Yeah, I think you're worried about this. You feel like you have to protect your heart. That's what I really feel. It's about feeling a little insecure about this, maybe, all right? Maybe confidence is holding you back. I do feel like there's some kind of communication. I do feel like there's some kind of communication that needs to happen here. And maybe it's a communication you don't want to have. With the tower there, it could be like, I'm not invested in this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I realize I'm supposed to go in a different direction. And that may be very hard to communicate. You might feel scared. You might be afraid of the reaction. That is a possibility. But the thing is that it sets you free and you have protection. Yeah, I think you might be dealing with the devil. Okay. You might be dealing with somebody that you feel it can be extremely emotionally manipulative. We got the devil coming in with the King of Cups. Again, water sign energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. They got, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, factoring in their chart strongly somewhere there. I think there's been a lot of mutual manipulation in this situation. I have to be honest with you. What I'm seeing here on the board, what's coming through for me, it's not just one-sided. You may feel like they're emotionally manipulative. You may feel like they entice you and in some ways chain you with finances, with financial stability or support. You may feel like they come around and they're very flashy and they promise you a good time, but in some way this is also compromising. I'm just noticing how, there's this kind of ties that bind energy here. There's a lot with the hope chest. There's a lot about promises, promises of financial reward, money. It's interesting because that piece came in the beginning about wanting to go in a particular direction, something you've had your sights set on, what you want to do, but you felt like something held you back. You didn't get what you needed to move forward. And there was the piece about like maybe somebody, you needed money to move forward and there was some kind of loss there, something you were promised to come through, or some kind of theft or something along these lines. So this could be in relation to that. Okay. This could even be with a job, a job maybe that you really enjoy the work you're doing. You feel emotionally invested in the work. It's something that's fulfilling for you, but the job hasn't delivered all it promised you. And you're just kind of like, you're playing a role too to try to keep the peace, but maybe it requires you kind of stepping up to the plate. This is coming in for somebody. So if you've been in a position, you've been working toward a goal, you're in a career, you're really invested in your career, you love the work you do, you were promised growth in the profession, you haven't seen that growth despite, hitting all the marks, everything that was required of you, and you're really starting to feel pulled in another direction. I think it's time for you to really stand up for yourself and kind of hold them accountable. And maybe you do need to take that leap. Maybe you do need to take that leap and say, hey, I'm going to walk. You might be scared to do that because of the security it provides, but it might actually be that kind of leap, believing in yourself that much and what you want to create for yourself to kind of like step up to the plate and do that, not allow yourself to be manipulated because you become one of the family at work. I don't know what that's about. Maybe some of you have work situations like that where you're all really closely knit or something. You don't want to disrupt that, you don't want to have a falling out with these people. I think you still need to, okay? But I also feel like this is coming in romantically, okay? I feel like it's a romantic dynamic, but that was kind of like a side story for someone. I let all the stories, all the messages that want to come through, because I know that way somebody showing up here is going to get what they need, some message is going to come through for you. It's interesting because in the case of romance, I feel like kind of finances is being used as a bargaining chip on one end. I feel like on the masculine side and on the feminine side, sexuality and enticement is being used as a manipulation. Both are wearing a mask. Both have kind of subversive agendas operating. Both are out of balance, okay, with the two of pentacles, and there's always, kind of this instability in this connection. It's just that instability affects each person in a different way. This is the truth, straight up truth. Look at this. It's the swords. But this is also about communication. This is about taking off the mask that came in, right? Letting yourself be seen as you really are. That's a vulnerable place. It's a real vulnerable place. But look, if you do, we got Ace of Cups, all right? That's by, being in touch enough with your own emotions and also, that guidance, your own intuition, your own spiritual wisdom that comes funneling in that informs you about this is what feels right to me, you following that through and communicating what you need to communicate from the heart, taking that risk to speak your emotional truth, to be seen in your emotional truth. And what happens, things move forward, okay, with the Knight of Wands. Now, it's interesting because right behind that, we have the Three of Swords and we have the Four of Swords, forming the basis of the matter here. So I think this is, why you're kind of in a holding pattern right now with this. I believe there is something that needs to be emotionally spoken into existence that's been held inside the heart for too long. And there's grief around this, but you've had a lot of time to have a pause with this. And so it's one of those things where it's kind of like shit or get off the pot, Sometimes it's not about, how it's going to turn out. It's just the fact that the truth in your heart is this is my truth. And so it needs to be seen and it needs to be witnessed. And I need to communicate this. And that way it's not, weigh me down anymore. I free myself when I do that. 34 on the clock. That's the spiritual truth in the situation. All right. Now let's see the top of the deck energy here. Yeah. Ace of Wands. That is you using your power effectively to create change in your life. And that's what frees up your creative energy. And look at that right after that, the Wheel of Fortune. It gets everything moving in the direction you want to go in. There we go. Opens up your road. That's a beautiful message right there. I'm tempted to look at this next card. Oh, I'm so glad I did. Look at this. Strength, your energy. It puts you in your element. And this really shows you taming the beasts of the past, those beasts of burdens, the things that, used to really keep you under their stronghold. You're learning how to tame them, you know, how with gentleness coming into the heart, softening, getting out of the pride, letting it be okay. It's okay if it's rejected. It's okay. That's not the point. The point is that I live from this place of emotional integrity. I live from this place of my truth. I don't have to conceal it. I don't have to hide it. I don't have to make it anything other than what it is. And it doesn't matter how anybody else receives it. And this applies whether you are working with somebody in romantic relationship, or whether you are working in partnership with somebody on some kind of project, where you feel like your emotional truth or your creative energy is not being recognized, not being acknowledged enough, brought in enough into what's supposed to be a cooperative project where, everybody is bringing their energies into the mix. This could be in something you are creating, an album, a novel, something that you're exposing to be seen. What's important is that your truth, your expression is evident, and that it's not something like you feel you have to, conform to somebody else's idea of what is an acceptable truth. And it's about freeing yourself in that way. And that's what that tower is about ultimately, no matter how it's speaking to you in your situation, because you're not held back. Obviously, you have strength. You have everything you need to overcome your challenges. You have everything you need to overcome your challenges. You have the world, which ensures a successful conclusion. Okay. You have the wheel of fortune. You have an ace of wands. You have an ace of cups. You have an ace of swords. All you're missing is the ace of pentacles. And what is the ace of pentacles about? It's about doing the damn thing so you can actually experience the material reward, the activation of it in your reality. So it's not just something you think about, stew on, dream about. No, you're making it happen. You got to do the work. Okay. It's so important. It's time to actually do the physical work, like take the steps, take the steps. The leap is never going to get any easier. It just doesn't, it doesn't. It doesn't. And I understand, a lot of the collective is still held back by fears and all kinds of stuff going on, a lot of it has been the astrology, and we aren't quite at the point yet, for that maximum activation. But I feel like you're being called to at least open up a line of communication here. That's what it looks like to me. There's some kind of communication that needs to be had. And whether that's you communicating with another, or even maybe beginning with a simple place of communicating a truth to yourself that maybe you haven't wanted to really acknowledge and see, but being honest with yourself about that. And that's what gets everything moving and shifting and evolving. And it could be what you're communicating through your creativity. Okay. We're actually communicating before a group of people, public speaking, or some workshop. This is coming in very strongly, though. You might be moving into some kind of teaching capacity, or teaching might have something to do with the work you do. And maybe if you are teaching others, this is about teaching from a place of, emotional authenticity and also vulnerability, letting people see the real deal, speaking from your heart, not worrying about if what you have to communicate, how you communicate it is like what other people are doing. It's about being you, and letting that really shine through. It's the key to your success. The key to your success. Yeah. This gets you moving forward with the Chariot. All right. And on the other side of that, we got the Four of Wands, brings you into total alignment. This is celebration. And I feel like if you do move forward, you're really going to have something to celebrate. It's going to be that success. It's going to be your point of arrival, coming into alignment. And again, like with those of you who are seriously thinking of relocating to a different country, or going to travel to a particular piece of land that's just been really like tugging at your soul, and you feel like it's a calling, like, I got to do this. I see that you will get there and you will set up a home there. And those of you that just travel there, you're going to go there and it's going to bring you into alignment with somebody. I feel somebody, those of you that just feel called to travel to a place, you come into alignment with somebody there. And it sets you off on a brand new path that will lead you to complete fulfillment. 40/40 on the clock. It's like just the start of the building of your future. I feel called to pull out a different deck with you all. I don't want to just stay with this deck. Um, you know, maybe you need to get yourself a new hand, Leo. Maybe you've been playing the same hand for too long. Maybe it's time for a shuffle, okay? Maybe it's time to shuffle and switch it up a little bit. Let's see. What do I feel called to for you all? What do I feel called to for you all? I'm gonna pull in this super awesome future deck, okay? This deck I was working with is the Paulina Tarot. What's on the bottom there? The cherry. Okay. And definitely moving forward. That's what's going to happen for you here. You're going to get very clear on your truth with the Venus Jupiter conjunction, and you're going to recognize how you've been holding yourself back. There's some experience that comes through that really blows your mind. It's a tower, okay? I think something's undeniable. You're not going to be able to hold back the energy any longer. You're going to need to move forward with this. You're also not going to be able to hold in your truth any longer. There's something you're going to need to communicate, and it's going to require that you're vulnerable, but it's the key to your success. It kind of like springs the lock open on the, cage you put yourself in. All right. Bottom of the deck energy. I feel like you got support with this too. The dogs is all about loyalty. Okay. So I do feel like you have some people who like got your back. They're cheering you on. They're like, you can do it. I know you can do it, So it's not like you're out there on your own, you got people, you got supporters, for those of you who are looking to really launch something, you're nervous about it or wondering how it'll be received. I think you got loyal supporters. There's already people who recognize what you bring to the table. They like what you do, and you're going to be okay. And those of you taking any kind of like romantic risk, something in matters of the heart, you got friends who got your back. Maybe what you need to do is like a little out of pocket, or maybe you're feeling a little bit vulnerable about people finding out who you dig, who you're into, or there's something like that, or maybe you've had some missteps in matters of the heart, and you're making a course correction. I think you have some people who they've had your back and they're really encouraging you to go for it. They want you to be happy, they want you to follow your heart. And they're like, we got you, no matter how it turns out, we got you. So I think you kind of got like a group of supporters that are encouraging you, and they'll be there to, help you, just feel really like you're being held as you take these risks to move forward in alignment with your heart. And it looks good. All right. It looks good. Let the support in too. It's hard when you're taking a big risk. It really can bring up a lot of stuff. Yeah, you got vigor here, and it was heady. It was taking a nosedive. I think you're tired. All right. So this is also about call in some support. Even when you're like working really hard, to move forward with something. And it feels to me like you've had the proverbial struggle. Okay. You've had the struggle between the head and the heart. All right. And it's interesting because with the chicken, we always think like, why did the chicken cross the road? Um, it was all about to get to the other side. But I think what's kept you in this place between your head and your heart is you haven't been picking a side. You've been, just staying in middle of the road. You've been in this place of ambivalence, but that's been your outer expression of it. It's not true. It's bullshit. It's a lie. It's not ambivalent. It means absolutely everything to you, but you're not letting that be seen. You're trying to come off like you don't care which way the ball bounces because it's a matter of pride. And it's not true. It means absolutely everything to you. And in order for you to pick the side, pick the direction that you want to go in, it might mean you have to, take a risk. in some other area. That could be risk falling out with certain people. That could be risk judgment from certain people. That could be risk egg on your face. It could be taking a risk and realizing, hey, maybe I didn't have it, right back there. And I made a mistake. There's some piece about this, something, there's fear involved, okay? Because I also think of that game of chicken, this game of chicken, when two cars are like driving toward each other, who gets more scared than the other and has to veer the other way at the last minute, right? And I feel there's that energy, right? The Venus Jupiter conjunction energy of, kind of like always coming into orbit and pulling back. It's that same kind of thing. And we know you're not playing this game of chicken moving at any speed. You're like dragging a bus behind you. So it's just like this. I mean, how long are you going to drag this damn thing out? Like, get over it already. There's this piece here about like you got to just let go of the the fear, because this holding on is getting old. Look at all that you're dragging behind you. This is why you're worn out. This is why you're exhausted. This is why nothing feels like it's moving forward. And you keep telling yourself two different stories. What are those two sides of the road? Well, one is the head and one is the heart. you know and you keep trudging down the middle, doing what you think you should do, and because I got all the time in the world to make up my mind. And there's something about this, it's like, no, you don't. You actually don't. You don't have all the time in the world to make up your mind, and you don't know how long you got. Nobody does. None of us know that. At any moment your number could be up. And meanwhile, you're wasting time for what? For pride. So you don't look like you care. So it doesn't look like it matters to you, that it in fact means absolutely everything to you. That's ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. It is. And it's wearing you out. And the reason why it's wearing you out is because you know it's true. And you're the only one holding yourself back. I mean, let's look at it. Let's look at the egg on your face scenario. Let's say, you take that risk, you go toward that person, you say what you need to say, you let it all come out, you let it all go, you let yourself be seen in that place, or you speak your grand truth, or whatever it is you're worried about. And let's say you do experience rejection. Well, at least you're not dragging this shit behind you on this long, hard, green mile, are you? And then you can get on with it, man. This is about setting yourself free from some weird sense of responsibility to just like keep going, keep trudging through, keep powering through. Maybe that's what's been inherited by the mother, the sense of martyrdom. Like, I just got to suck it up. I just got to tough it out. 48, 44, it's time to look at a totally new way moving forward. You don't need to drag all this behind you. Pick a side, okay? I encourage you to meet in the middle, all right? Lungs. What are the lungs? The lungs are life. The lungs are life. You can't live without breath, okay? You can't go very long without breath. Is this any kind of life? This drudgery? This isn't life. This isn't life. Life is what inspires you. It's what makes you want to get up and face the day. This is not life. Towing this line is not life. I don't care what you tell yourself about it. It isn't life. You got to go with your inspiration. You got to breathe that life in. You got to stop worrying about whatever happened in the past, okay? Lungs are about grief. This is about letting that shit go. It doesn't matter what happened back there. What's happening right now? What are you feeling right now? We already see, what you're aligned with. You made that very clear right out the gate. You know exactly what you are aligned with. You have no doubt. Okay, so take the risk. Will you crap out? You might. Could you have absolute celebration, success? Absolutely. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. And here's this piece too. Maybe that celebration success, it's different than you think it is. Maybe you think it's about this person saying yes. Maybe you think it's about this opportunity coming through. But maybe you take the leap, and maybe that isn't what turns out, to be the success. Maybe it's something else entirely, but you don't know until you take the leap. It's risky, I know. It's about throwing away all expectations. Woo. And we had a few cards come out there. Yeah. And right there down on the ground. there it came out again. This is your challenge, all right? This is your challenge. It's about facing your fear. And everything you want is on the other side of fear, all right? We got the house, all right? Remember, it was about home, right? It was about home. You want to go to that place that is like calling you home. For some of you, it's moving to another country. For others of you, it's traveling, to a particular location. It could also be moving towards somebody, going towards somebody who feels like home to you. Okay. And I agree. You may feel like things are pretty strange here. I mean, look at this like weird Bebo dude like hanging out the door there. You might feel kind of like a little out of your element. It might feel kind of strange, but there's something here that's lighting you up. Look at the fireworks in the background. Again, timing. I feel like around your season, 4th of July. Maybe there's something about the 4th of July, Independence Day, that just came in for me. I feel like there's something that you need to really free yourself from. It could be a contract, it could be a relationship, it could be a lease, a housing lease, a place where you've lived, where maybe things have been not the best. Maybe there's been arguments in the home, disruption in the home. It's been a little weird for a while. Yeah, it might look like everybody's ideal on the outside, but on the inside, it ain't all it's cracked up to be. July might be particularly significant. Okay, I feel like something is really, really coming in for you. Let me do a cut of the deck energy, get one final message here. Got cats. And we got the cat lady. This is wild. I mean, cats, Leo. I mean, you are associated with the lion. It's interesting because there was dogs and there was cats. You had dogs, they were like the loyal people. This is very interesting. I feel like in your situation, whether you're, masculine or feminine, I feel like it's the masculines that you can really count on to be your sources of like support or to steer you in the right direction when it comes to, just helping you, get to this next stage. I feel like you got to watch out for the feminines around you, though. There's some secretive shit going on with some feminines here that, could block you coming into alignment with this thing. This could be like interfering energies. So do be aware of that. In fact, for those of you who've had some disruption in your home, there could be like some multiple outside influences interfering with that. Cats, I also think like cattiness, gossip, things along these lines. I would say, it's better for you to kind of keep to yourself in that regard in terms of women around you. Okay, look at these cats hanging around the cat lady. I just picking up this message. It's like, keep it cool, okay? Keep it cool. Because you have maybe a lot of women around you that are posing as your friends that are eavesdropping on the situation. All right. There is something secretive going on here too. And that could interfere with your wish. And again, I have to say this because what's behind that? We got the snake. All right. So there's some kind of temptation here. You're being presented with a choice. And I have a feeling you might be moving a little out of pocket. You might be doing something that's a little controversial too. And I think in order for you to move forward with this thing, you're going to have to do it in such a way where you are being kind of sneaky, I feel. I mean, only you can make that choice. about this. I feel like this is coming up in relation to a romantic prospect. I want to get you one angel on this. I feel like you might need a little angelic guidance coming in. I'm picking that up. Feels like there's been something secretive going on and involves multiple parties. Okay. This could be a third party situation. I also feel like there's some people around you who are privy to it. They may be around you in the form of female friends or relatives. They might be acting like they are your friends. They might want to support you, listen to you, help you, have a kind ear to bend. They might be using the information they get to their advantage, or they might have their eyes set on the same thing you do. That's another thing to consider here. There could be a bit of a competitive vibe. Again, I'm just really getting like trust the masculine in this scenario. It's in your best interest, all right? Trust the masculine in this regard. I also think, you have a choice to make. It's important. It's important to, come to that center point, the head and the heart, the meeting point, building the bridge. It's not about behaving recklessly and doing things that will land you in real hot water and maybe a worse situation than you are right now, or create more frustration than you already currently feel. All right. So it is about being mindful with this, but it's also about taking calculated risks when it really aligns with your truth and when it feels right with everything within you. I would say it's about how you do it, though, that's important. And it's not important for you to let people who are trying to pry into your business know absolutely everything you're going to do. And you should really question their motives. All right. There's something there you need to pay attention to. An angel to guide Leo, please, because this is pretty wild. Give Leo a little support. I always know that Leo's going to have something interesting to bring to the table. Whoa, you all know that is just so much. Come on, I don't have enough time left. We got the Fool with the 4 of Wands, with the 10 of Cups, with the 5 of Wands, with the Ace of Pentacles. There's that Ace of Pentacles. Okay. Oh, top of the deck energy. Queen of Wands, Alemia. That's you. Okay. So you have Alemia is here to guide you. All right. This is your angel. So you can write that down and do some research on Alemia if you would like. It means the hidden God. Divine power guards against mental troubles. Remember, it's a story in your head that's holding you back. You just need to know that you are so being watched over right now. You are covered right now. You're being guided to that Ace of Pentacles, that tangible new beginning, the activation of your destiny, your dream, that thing you wanted to see. You have all the aces, man. Ace is wild. You got all the aces, man. Brand new beginnings for you. And yes, like I was saying, be aware of the competition, because you do have competition around you with the 5 of Wands. Be aware of women in particular acting like they want to know what's going on with you, fishing a little bit too much into your personal business. Beware of that, okay? Because I think you have multiple people that have their eyes set on this opportunity, on this relationship, this kind of thing, okay? But I see if you take the risk with the Fool, you arrive at the 10 of Cups and the 4 of Wands. Total alignment, fulfilled, happy, brand new cycle. Take that leap. You've got to go for it, Leo.